So hello you guys and welcome back to my channel. So today's video is a video that I've had a few different people ask me to do. I've had a few people suggest that I do a video on my favourite horror movies or my favourite type of scary films. So I decided to kind of do just that, but to talk about my favourite horrors and thrillers combined, because I know they're different genres, but I kind of mold them together, if you know what I mean. It's going to be no particular order because you guys know what I'm like. If I put it in order, it's not going to matter. I'm still going to get off track and talk about other things. So it's just going to be a list, I guess, of movies I like and why I like them. Alrighty, so first of all, I have The Conjuring. I know this is like a really well-known movie. I remember going to see it in the cinema and I remember being absolutely fucking scared walking out of that cinema. I was like, what the fuck did I just watch? I'm pretty sure there's a sequel to it and I've seen that as well, although I didn't like it as much as I liked the first original movie. There's something about films of that sort that just fuck with my head, and it's not even like a type of like, oh, I was scared of that movie. It was more of like, I can't stop thinking about it kind of thing. Similar with Paranormal Activity. That movie gets a lot of shit. It gets a whole lot of shit. At one point it was like the cool movie to like, and then it was like the cool movie to hate. People went from loving it to hating it really quick. And I know there's like 5 of them now. I'm pretty sure I've seen all of them. And I think there's a new one coming out this Halloween, which I'll probably go see as well because I love that like franchise. But I remember going to see the first one again in the cinema. A group of me and my friends went to see it. And I remember we were all sitting in a row. There must have been like 6 of us. We were all sitting in like a row. We were like, oh yeah, it's good. It's like the scariest movie of the year. Because before the film started, there was like all of these warnings. And they were really strict on letting people in to see the movie. Like, they were checking ID and everything to make sure you were the right age. So we thought we were the shit. We were like, oh, this movie's like really scary. Look at us go. And I remember we were all huddled together during like the tense scenes. We were like, oh no. I can't remember if I saw the first movie or the second movie in the cinema. I have a feeling it was the second movie, and then from then on I saw every single one in the cinema. But I loved them. My favourite one is still the first movie. There's something about that whole, there's something in the house and you can't see it, that is so frightening. Or like when you hear the footsteps and then like a door slams and you don't see anything. It's like, who the fuck did that? I love that type of movie because it frightens me. And again, I know that movie got a lot of shit, but I feel like Paranormal Activity is the type of movie that if you watch on a laptop with headphones in the dark, and then try and go outside and try and walk to the bathroom, try and walk across the hall to the bathroom or wherever your bathroom is, I promise you there will be a small part of your mind that's like, oh, what was that? I swear there will. Doesn't matter how fucking brave you are, after watching a movie like that you are jumpy as fuck. But I loved it, and I loved that the sequel explained what happened in the first one. The sequel was actually more of a prequel, as far as I remember. The second one was about the sister, wasn't it? Or it was about the kids or something. But it was kind of explaining how the first one came to be. And I loved that. I loved getting backstory for the characters that we'd already seen. And it was just, ooh, I loved that. I didn't like the 4th and the 5th one, or like the 2 latest movies in that. I didn't like them as much. So I'm hoping the newest one that comes out this year is going to be good. Don't Breathe is another one that I watched. Now this movie isn't as well known as the other 2 I've mentioned. It's kind of like, it's about, how do I even explain this without giving it away? It's about these people break into a house to rob it, but things don't go according to plan. The person that lives in that house is not having any of their fuckery on this day, and it kind of evolves from there, and I'll leave it at that. If you haven't seen it, honest to God, I think you should go and try and find it and watch it. It is a really, really good like suspense thriller. It is so good, and I only saw that recently. Quarantine is another one that I love, and that's another one that was big at the time, and then when the hype for it died down, people kind of were like, oh, it's so stupid. Quarantine made me terrified of airports for like ever after watching that movie. It's about these people are on a plane, and then somebody on the plane goes insane and they start like spitting up stuff and attacking people, so they lock him in the bathroom. The plane lands, they try and get into the airport, but they're not allowed out of the airport, and the airport is like shut down. And all the passengers are just there like, what the fuck is going on? The guy from the bathroom gets out and starts like fucking hunting and attacking people. He's kind of like a zombie a little bit, but these things move really fast. Like they run at you and they make really scary fucking sounds, and they're like, ugh. I always say this about stuff, but I love the claustrophobic element. Anything that feels like very enclosed. Anything that feels like you don't have room to even breathe. I love films like that. So I loved Quarantine. I think there was a second one, but I didn't really like the second one. Was there a second one? But if you love horrors and you love kind of gory zombie style movies, I really think you'd like this one if you haven't seen it. Another one I loved was The Purge. Now The Purge is completely different to Quarantine. The Purge, I'm sure all of you guys have heard about it. It's about like one night, is it every year or every few years? The city goes like into lockdown mode and you can do whatever the fuck you want. Murder, everything is legal. It's like, I don't know who the fuck thought up with this shit, but they need to have their heads evaluated. But the reasoning behind it is it lowers crime rates throughout the year and all of that, which like, it does make sense in a way, but it's such a bad fucking way of dealing with life. Hey, it's Purge Day, let's get our rifles ready to go kill those people we don't like, because we can. Like, it's fucked up, the whole concept is so fucked. But it's such a good movie. I liked the newest one. Was it Anarchy? The first Purge is set in a house. It's about like a family in a house. I think it's the second one. Is there a third one? I don't know. But I think it's the second one deals with actually being out in the city and watching the events unfold and trying to keep safe from psychopaths that are roaming the city with their fucking weapons and their big fucking trucks. But that's a really good one. The one hang on, I'll Google it. I'm pretty sure it's Anarchy, The Purge Anarchy. Yeah, that's it. The Purge Anarchy is the one I preferred to the first Purge. I love it. When they're out in the city and they're trying to like survive and shit, it's really good. Then you have to get more into your kind of like stereotypical good horror movies. I'm sorry, now this light is too bright on my eyeballs. Like The Shining, The Crow, Saw, all those movies. I've said it before, I love The Crow, it's like one of my favourite movies ever. But I really like Saw, and again, it's the type of movie that gets made fun of an awful lot. But the first two, my favourite Saw is the second one. But the first like two, and I think the fourth one as well, are so fucking good. As it goes on, and as it like progresses, and you get up to like Saw number 6 or 7, it's kind of like, well, we've kind of seen everything at this stage. Little fucker Jigsaw going around in his fucking tricycle, it's like, alright man, you don't scare me anymore. But it's the first two are incredible. Sixth Sense is another one that is like a classic. I liked it like everyone else because of the twist. If you haven't seen The Sixth Sense, I'm not going to give it away, but there's a twist at the end that when you know what the twist is, it's so blatantly fucking obvious throughout the entire movie that it'll make you want to kick yourself for not picking up on it. The Sixth Sense, I think, is the kind of movie you really need to watch twice. You need to watch it once, having not seen it before, and then you need to rewatch it again, knowing what happens. As you're watching it the second time, everything is so obvious, but you didn't pick up on it, and it's, oh, I loved it. I see dead people. Creepy as shit. Probably one of my favourite, I don't even know what genre this would go into, but it's one of my favourite movies of all time, is The Butterfly Effect. I firmly am a believer in that kind of shit. Not like time travel and stuff, although, you know, that could, technically, let's go on a tangent. Technically, time travel is real, if you think about it. It hasn't been invented yet that we know of, but like years down the line, centuries down the line, it will be a thing. It will have been invented. Which means people from then have probably already travelled back to our time now, if you think about it. Now, I know this sounds crazy and I sound like a loony, but when you rationalise it, like, it's going to be invented, it's going to be a thing, years in the future. But those people years in the future are going to fucking come back in time to see what's going on. So they're, like, they could have done it already, it's mad. But anyway, The Butterfly Effect deals with every little decision you make has a knock-on effect on your future. I firmly believe that, and I have reasons for this, but I'm not going to get into them. I believe every little decision you make regarding your life or life choices, it's going to affect everything you do from here on in. I think Ashton Kutcher plays the role fantastically. This is the first time I've mentioned actors while talking about all the movies. I don't usually like Ashton Kutcher, but I think he was amazing in this film, and it's the type of movie that, again, you can watch it more than once without getting bored, I feel. Now, I didn't like the sequels to it. I know of one, and I wasn't feeling it. But the original Butterfly Effect, it's a fantastic film. It kind of puts things into perspective for you, I guess. It's not really, like, scary or, like, anything like that, but there is, like, a thriller aspect to it. I kind of get that vibe from it. Maybe that's just me. Sweeney Todd is another classic. Now, Sweeney Todd is more on the gory side, so if you don't have a stomach for gore, I would suggest staying away from it. If you're not really afraid of gore, I would suggest Sweeney Todd if you haven't seen it. Now, it is a musical, which throws a lot of people off, but the fact it was a musical was the reason I wanted to watch it. I love musicals, I love music, I love movies like that. And no, before any of you guys asked, I know this is off topic, I haven't seen La La Land yet. I know it's like one of the best musicals of all time or whatever, but I haven't seen it yet. I will though. I'll have to check it out because it's so hyped up. Only I could get from Sweeney Todd to fucking La La Land. Johnny Depp as an actor is incredible. He is a fucking chameleon. He blends into any role seamlessly. And Sweeney Todd is a type of movie that it feels like there's like kind of comedy in it, but it's a very dark sort. The music in it is, I still have the soundtrack like on my phone to this day. I love the soundtrack to that movie. And the costumes and the design of it is so like wow. I love movies that are like visually stunning to watch, and it's a Tim Burton movie, so of course it's going to be visually pleasing as well as the storyline being very good. But like the costumes and the scenery and the camera angles and the music, it's the type of movie that there's so fucking much happening, there's so much going on that it kind of ends before you even realise it, I think anyway. God, I remember being pretty young when I saw that movie. I've always loved horror, and I should have opened the video with that, shouldn't I? I always have loved horror. Nothing has really scared me, like gore, paranormal stuff, thrillers, anything like that. Slasher movies, serial killer movies, they don't scare me. The only thing that kind of used to get under my skin, surprisingly, was zombies, and I have talked about this before. The only thing I would not watch was anything related to zombies. Wouldn't watch them. I was like, fuck no, I hate them. I eventually got watching The Walking Dead, and I became obsessed with zombies, and then it was like I had to make up for lost time, and I watched every zombie movie that there ever fucking was. One of my favourites being World War Z. That's probably one of my favourite zombie movies ever. Ever. And I've seen it more times than I can count. And then you always have to mention like Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead, Night of the Living Dead, all stuff like that, like all the older classics that are fantastic. But yeah, I watched like every zombie movie that was ever made in the space of 2 months, I would say. I came out of those 2 months like nothing can ever freak me out ever again after that. But that's it, you guys. I don't know how long this video was. I'm probably going to be shocked when I import it to my laptop to edit it. But I just thought that I would talk about horror movies and stuff, or thriller movies with you guys. Thriller is another fantastic one. I know it's not a movie, but it's a music video. The Thriller music video by Michael Jackson. That was incredible. I love that, and every Halloween it's always on like VH1 and MTV and stuff. It's one of my favourite parts of Halloween, is sitting down to watch the full uncut version of that music video. Anyway, I just said that I'd do this style of video because I've had a few people asking me about horrors and thrillers. Now there is going to be loads that I've forgotten, and I know there'll be loads of you guys in the comment section leaving suggestions, and I'll probably be looking at all the suggestions going, oh, that should have been on the list. But if I didn't mention something, it doesn't mean I didn't like it, it just means I've forgotten. Anyway, that's it for today, you guys. I hope you guys have a lovely week, and I will talk to you all soon.